name is Mr. Q, and today we're going to talk about Sitting Bull. He was one of the most famous Native American military leaders of the 19th century, who united the Sioux Nation and other tribes against the white men who were invading their lands. Born in 1831 in what is now known as South Dakota, his birth name was, get this, Jumping Badger. A cool name, but one with room for improvement. Jumping Badger belonged to the Hunkpapa people, a Lakota Sioux tribe who roamed the Great Plains and got everything they needed from hunting the wild buffalo. At this time, it was his dad who was called Sitting Bull. As he grew up, Jumping Badger got the nickname Slow because he was quiet and took care with his actions. I know that's probably a compliment, but you have to admit, it's still not a great name. Like other kids, Slow learned how to ride horses, use a bow and arrow, and hunt. He killed his first buffalo when he was 10 years old, and took part in his first war party when he was only 14. As was tradition, Slow used a coup stick to show his bravery. If a kid like him could at least touch one of his enemies with the stick, he could bring honor to himself. When Slow rode out and did just that, his father was so impressed, he gave his name to his son. From now on, the boy would be known as Sitting Bull, and his dad took on the name Jumping Bull. As a young man, Sitting Bull increased the Sioux hunting grounds, became known as fearless in battles against rival tribes, and he was also admired for being generous and wise. By 1857, he was a tribal war chief. Up to this time, Sitting Bull hadn't had much to do with the white man, but that changed in the 1860s. This is when the white men started coming into the Dakotas in bigger numbers, and he started to fight back. Unlike other tribal leaders, he refused to sign the Fort Laramie Treaty of 1868, which supposedly was going to let them keep their land. His skepticism was proved right when gold was discovered in the Black Hills in 1874. The Black Hills was sacred ground for the Sioux, and the Fort Laramie Treaty forbade white settlement there. That fact stopped approximately, drumroll please, 0 prospectors from rushing in. The U.S. government tried to buy the Black Hills, and when they couldn't, they forgot all about the treaty. They said all Sioux needed to move to land called a reservation by January 31st, 1876. Those who didn't would be hunted as fugitives. Used to a nomadic lifestyle, Sitting Bull and his followers considered the reservation to be a prison. The scene was set for a war. Knowing that Native Americans needed to unite to fight the U.S. Army, Sitting Bull brought the 7 Sioux tribes together, and they were joined by the Cheyenne and the Arapaho. On June 25th, 1876, Lieutenant Colonel George A. Custer got himself and 200 of his men killed when they found themselves surrounded by thousands of Native American soldiers in what became known as the Battle of Little Bighorn, though the American Indians called it the Battle of the Greasy Grass. Even though Sitting Bull didn't take part, leaders like Crazy Horse were spurred on by a vision he had of their victory. The U.S. Army didn't like losing one bit, so they came after the Plains Indians, forcing them into the reservations. In May 1877, Sitting Bull led his people across the border into Canada and spent 4 years hiding out there. But there were less buffalo in Canada, so the Sioux found it hard to feed themselves. Facing starvation, Sitting Bull was forced to return home in July of 1881. After surrendering, he spent 2 years as a prisoner, before being sent to Standing Rock Agency Reservation. After this, somewhat strangely, Sitting Bull became a celebrity. People spent $2 for an autograph, which was a lot of money back then. And in 1885, he was invited to William Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show, earning $50 a week to ride around the arena on a horse. He saw it as a way to show his pride in his heritage, but he soon became disillusioned. Despite befriending sharpshooter Annie Oakley, he grew tired of traveling and didn't like what he saw of Western society. He would give money to the homeless people in big cities and decided to go home. Sitting Bull resisted converting to Christianity and continued to be a spiritual leader. In 1889, the Ghost Dance movement started gaining popularity. It spoke of a Messiah who would bury the white man's world under a layer of soil and allow the Indians to return to their old ways. The government got worried Sitting Bull might escape the reservation and joined the movement. So on December 15th, 1890, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or BIA, sent Lakota policemen to arrest him in the early hours of the morning. In a quick, chaotic gunfight, the legendary Sitting Bull was shot dead. As the United States marched into the 20th century, the proud nomadic lifestyle of the Plains Indian was a thing of the past. Remember to join our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to see the first new episodes on every second Thursday. My name is Mr. Q, and I'm out.